One more season to deal with this guy.
No.
Well, that's a relief. As Bayern supporters were in tears when Lewandowski announced his retirement, the club would find it hard to replace him. They'd also forget to make any signings, leaving them with 16 first-team players.
Our owners are a joke, and so is our football club.
That wouldn't stop them from defeating us in the Super Cup, but with no signings, and them selling presumably unhappy players, the media season preview had us as Bundesliga favorites.
Pressure?
And I decided to make 2 signings. We brought in Gerald Ruck from Hoffenheim, who looks insane for his age, and we brought in Radu as a backup keeper. Unfortunately, Casono skipped training for the 2nd season running after offers from some big clubs were rejected. That led to more pressure to sell him, and sadly, we did. Having 3 starting caliber center backs already, we had to say goodbye to the Ivorian, who has been here since the start.
We cannot replace him.
Other exits included Emiliano Martinez to West Ham, Burak Ince to Wolfsburg, Linus Gector to Bremen, and some loans. When the season began with Bayern losing and us defeating Arminia Bielefeld, I was rubbing my hands together.
I can explain.
That first goal was just bad by Onana, and my team gave Zakarian 2 chances at an empty net. Second one, Zabarny decided that he was a midfielder, while Vardiol kicked the ball without observing the pitch. Amad Diallo? Well, that's just a good goal. The last 2 were just us chasing the game, so really, it's not that bad. We still deserve to lose. Prior to the match, Ronaldo Pinzon broke his foot, so it seemed like he would be a big miss for the next 3 to 4 months. However, in the Bundesliga, we were playing exceptionally. 9 wins in a row after that loss. Gil was our top scorer, but Adeyemi was adding some, along with Manakim, with various goals scored by others. Leipzig stopped our run with a draw, which was annoying because we had a few chances we probably should have scored. Nevertheless, we won the following 2 matches against Hamburg and Augsburg. Hertha Berlin actually gave us a tough match, resulting in a 0-0 draw, and with Greuther Fürth right after, we only had 1 match left in the Hinrunde. You might have noticed that a certain club hasn't been played yet. Matchday 17, Bayern Munich.
Cancel this question, please.
That means we also play them on the final day of this season, and if the title race goes down to the wire, I'm gonna be stressed. During the campaign, Mbappe heavily stepped up with goal scoring. Despite Bayern being thinner than parchment paper, they're there with us. For this match, I used the same shape as the one that defeated Bayern in the DFB Pokal last season, and we scored early. Let's go! Fergil! Si, senor!
Nani?
We were somehow surviving this, and as halftime approached, there was a trick to be played. But we were playing some nice football here, and oh, let's go! Kark has scored for us to make it 2-0 out of nothing. A 5-point gap on Bayern was incredible, but Dortmund were there too. Bayern did make some signings in January, and they also tried to sign Onana from us. We wanted 100 million, so then they tried to buy Dortmund's keeper. Dortmund told them to piss off. This means that Bayern got a little more depth, but their squad is still thin. Besiktas was simple, but Napoli with Lorenzo Luca, Rafael Leao, and Victor Osimhen caused our defenders to crap the bed. We then traveled to Rennes to face a couple of our former players. Their manager was Rafa Benitez, who like Mourinho, annoyed me a lot in older FMs. My annoyance continued.
Unless he fucked.
Thankfully, we smacked them up in the reverse fixture, but Napoli at home had us get Lorenzo Luca. That means we need Rennes to slip up against Napoli. With us, we barely won our match, scoring a last-minute penalty. Thankfully, that result wouldn't have mattered as Rennes couldn't deal with Lorenzo Luca. In the round of 16, we got to face Manchester United.
He probably doesn't have a right to criticize my management style, and I won't change.
Surprisingly, they won the Premier League. I guess all it took was Harry Maguire to stop playing and for Ole to remain at the wheel.
He's doing his thing. Man United are back.
They had this striker who I was considering signing instead of Gil a few summers ago. Their side was strong, and honestly, they should have scored early, but we kept the match tight. Then in the 41st minute, crosses it in. Kark, let's go! That led to us getting the better of them and maintaining our 1-0 victory. The second leg, we used the Bayern strategy, which led to a very boring match. But before halftime, they scored a goal out of nothing. Just kidding, it's offside. Instead, we scored right after halftime. Si, senor! And while they did equalize, Leverkusen were victorious. Real Madrid would be our opponents in the quarterfinal, and their starting lineup was questionable in the first leg. They were playing a 36-year-old David Alaba at left back. That gave me confidence, and the game seemed to be in our favor, especially with Ronaldo Pinzon back. Ronaldo Pinzon! From distance! We scored again in the 81st minute, but I feel like we could have taken advantage of this situation more. They had 10 men for the last quarter hour of the match, and chances were hard to come by other than that goal. At the Bernabeu, we again played the Bayern shape, and were preventing them from creating clear chances. It's a shame that Kamavinga is kind of good in 2029. Our team was performing really poorly outside of the 2 center backs, and here's a tip for you. Check your defensive corners before a big game. Banakim's 8 heading should not have been at the near post.
Pain, suffering, depression.
The match went to extra time and subsequently penalties. Our side didn't have great penalty takers available, and the pressure was too much to handle as we were eliminated. Real Madrid would lose to Arsenal in the semis, while Liverpool actually didn't make a Champions League final for once. So it was a rematch of the Europa League final, which saw Inter get their revenge. Bayern were also eliminated at the same stage as us. And remember that gap we had? Yeah. Luckily, we had an easier set of matches and kind DFB Pokal fixtures, leading us to 9 wins in a row through those competitions. That included a dramatic match against Gladbach, which had me going from happy to annoyed. They scored off kickoff. Back to happy to anger. We conceded off a throw-in.
What a headshot!
Finally, counter. Can we counter? Take advantage of their misstep. Yes! We'd face Gladbach later on again in the DFB Pokal semi-final. Bayern were doing their best to keep up with us despite their players constantly tired. Unlike us, they were eliminated from the DFB Pokal, which would ease up their fixtures. With us drawing Schalke right before the international break in March, the gap was 1 point. Then after the draw against Hamburg in between the Madrid legs, I wasn't feeling confident, and honestly, I thought it was over. There's no way Super Bayern is going to drop off now. Thankfully, Arsenal killed Bayern's form, and a huge moment happened in their match versus Wolfsburg.
Can Mbappe deliver? He's denied by...
Danny! Go, Danny Martin. 2-point gap. Now we got the message of the end of season run-in. Clearly, Bayern's schedule was tougher than ours. We defeated Augsburg, and Bayern had Gladbach.
Mbappe, goal!
9th minute here, last few minutes of the game.
Julian Brandt! Yeah!
Thank you. 4-point gap. Then Gladbach were defeated in the DFB Pokal semi-final, giving us a potential chance at a German double. But there's still some work to do, especially since the next match was against Hertha, who were the 2nd worst side in the league. We drew them once again. Bayern could close the gap to 2 points, and with a 1-0 lead in the last 10 minutes, that seemed to be the upcoming scenario.
Options left and right. And the referee points to the spot. Huge pressure on his shoulders. The title race could be shaped by this moment. And he scores!
Dortmund also had a chance to close the gap and make things uncomfortable, but they drew Wolfsburg. A win on the penultimate day of the season would give us the title, and Greuther Fürth were long ago relegated. If we don't get the job done from here, what am I doing with my life? Olmo once again to the other side of the pitch. Pinzon one-time volley. Carradines is pushed in the back. Referee, that is 100% the penalty. Hatab is gonna step up because for some reason he's good at penalties, and he scores. Let's go. Banakim to Adeyemi, in behind to Ruck. He finds Carradines. With 2 more goals scored, we won 4-0. And despite Bayern winning 8-1 and Dortmund winning 3-0, we are champions. Carradines was crucial for the first 2 goals, and he would score against Bayern to continue his cult hero status. It would have been cooler if we won the match, but champions nevertheless. Most wins in Leverkusen history, most points, and the least number of defeats in a season. Yeah, it could have been a little bit better if our 3 main strikers didn't forget how to score goals, but still, we won the title, we can't complain. The Leverkusen curse is dead in Germany, and we can finish the season nicely with a German double. The first half was filled with offside chances and a header over the bar. Then early in the second half, Olmo topped the box. Let's go! We were the only team playing football, as a great passage of play doubled our lead. Yes, Dortmund scored late, but it wasn't enough, as Leverkusen had become the first side other than Bayern to win the double since Dortmund back in 2012. No longer Leverkusen. No, they could say last season was a fluke. This season, no flukes here. No longer Leverkusen. We are Bayer Leverkusen. We are champions of Germany.